up, guys? All right, I want to do a late night lesson. I will do one in the morning, I promise. This one is a little bit more advanced. We're going to talk about playing over some changes, some relatively easy changes, but I was just jamming on this. E minor 7 to B minor. Right? And not only just playing over the changes, but just trying to navigate the whole guitar neck and not sticking in one position, or at least breaking out of the most comfortable position. So I do have a lesson where I talk about this, and I want to get a little bit more in depth. So let's get right into it. If I'm playing this E minor, right, what really hits it over the head for me is like, it's almost like the frets kind of light. You ever see like one of those keyboards where it shows you how to play by like the keys light up? It's like a beginner keyboard. It's kind of the same thing with a guitar, and how we can get those frets and strings to light up where we want is starting small and building from there. So what I mean is we're playing an E, we're playing E minor. So the first thing is, can you find 2 E's on each string? I do recommend doing it to a metronome. So once you can find each one of those E's and you're looking at your guitar and you can spot them easily, what we do now is we move a note backwards in the pentatonic and a note forward in the pentatonic. Take this E, all right? The note behind in the pentatonic and then the note ahead. Now each one of those E's is gonna have 2 different positions depending, but most of them will. So it's the same as that, right? So that's my E. Same with down here, right? And bridging them together, because if you look, where these 2 notes are is the same as here, right? So now that's your bridge up, then this is going to be, those 2 notes are going to be the bridge from this E, right? And so on, and that's how you can kind of walk up the guitar neck. So then, when you start, when the notes start walking up in that manner, what happens is you can start adding the other notes of the pentatonic, because it's pretty easy to see where they are. So if I have like, right? And it's not really a struggle as I'm walking up. So that's staying within the pentatonic. Then you can start adding, you know, your other notes depending on what minor scale it is that you're playing. You can add your 9s and your 6s or 13s depending on which way you're counting it, and then bridging that whole thing together. So that is how you can start putting it together. So I recommend finding each one of the E's, and then go a note before and a note after. Make sure you're doing both positions. All right. No matter where you are, right? And then that will start bridging that together. Then you can start adding in, right? However it is that you want to present it, and start putting it together. But what also makes it a little bit easier and opens up the neck is, as soon as, let's say I was in a jam session, some guy came right in to that, now I would want to do the same thing for B, right? All the way down, all the way down and all the way up for each B. And then I have that whole thing open. But the real, God, I don't know how to say it. I don't know what I meant it for. But the thing that really opens the whole thing is adding in your relative major. So, like I was saying, if somebody comes right in, I'm gonna think E minor but I'm also going to think G major, right? Because that is another way for me to spot. So I'm thinking G major, but with an E, with a 6 in there. And then same thing when I go to B minor, I'm going to think B minor, but it's relative major, which is D. So now I have an E minor and a G major to visualize, and then a B minor and a D major to visualize, and that's how I'm able to go up. Now, when this really becomes beneficial is if I'm all the way down here, right, for my E minor, right now I'm here for my G major, there for my E minor, there for my G major, and then I move up, major, so I can visualize it there, which brings me right to that pentatonic E minor. From there, right to my G major with an E on it, and that is how I can really walk up the guitar neck. So basically you have like E minor, G major, right? This G major moves to that E minor 7, and then this E minor 7 to this G major, which now brings me to that G major. This brings me to this E minor, right? And then so on and so forth. So that is how I'm able to open up the entire guitar neck and not stick to one specific position. And being able to play over the changes. Because some really cool things that I love to do as well is if I'm playing that E, right? I'll throw an arpeggio. So that's a G major arpeggio, and then I play the G here, and I just pull off to make it a major 7, and then end on the D, which is the flat 7 in my E. So I'll fool around in that relative major arpeggio realm. Another one that I love to do, so I'm going up here, I'm in E minor, I start on my G, G, F sharp, D, so I'm doing a G major arpeggio. That ultimately ends on an E. And if you look, if I'm playing that arpeggio up here, I completely bypass the E altogether, so it really is a G major arpeggio until I ended on that E. So I hope that helped. Let me know if you guys have any questions. That might have been a lot for some of you. It's probably not too much. It's something that you guys really, really want to work towards. And even if you were doing what I was doing before, just kind of like, you know, E minor to G major. You can even do like a G major, like kind of like up, visualize it like up the next position and say, all right, well, that's my E minor there. That's my E minor there. That's my G major. That's my G major, which brings me to my E minor, to that G major, to that G major. All right, I want you guys to try that and then do the same thing if you're down here. B minor, D major, so it opens up to that D major, which brings you to that B minor, that D major, that D major, right, and then kind of continue up. And you'll notice that the positioning is all the same.